Hey, how y'all doing out there? It's Josephus, Caleb, Israel, Resurrection Prophecy Kingdom. Today we have a preliminary discussion for an upcoming debate between Sammy Addison and Elvin Israel. Something that I think is going to be really edifying. Um, as you know, it's going to be about is Christ Yahweh. Um, These two individuals have their own separate views on Christ, on Yahweh, on the Hamashiach, views on the Bible itself, and we're going to edify one subject matter at a time. Um, we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and give each one of them individuals the time to set the stage for everyone, because we want to go ahead and make sure everybody knows each individual standpoint, and we want to try to create viewership on the day of this edifying event. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the first individual, Elvin Israel. He's going to go ahead and give you his standpoint and his ideology and his understanding of the Bible itself. And Elvin, there you go.
Shalom, shalom. Sorry about that. Shalom, shalom, everyone. I hope y'all having a fantastic evening. It's Elvin Israel, one of the instructors of RPK, stand for Resurrection, Prophecy, and Kingdom, where we concentrate on those three subjects. I'm here to give to pretty much defend my belief on not only I believe it's the ancient Israelite belief on exactly the deity of Christ. So before I go on in there, I got to give another disclaimer. Me, instructor of RPK, as y'all, if you don't know, I'm what you call a fuller preterist, where we believe that all things in the Bible have been fulfilled, as well as the main way to understand it is through the minds of the Hebrew. So I know a lot of the full preterists. I love my brothers that dive into more of the other information, but we try to stay inside the Hebrew mindset and the constraints of the Hebrews, even using non-canonical, quote unquote, non-canonical literature. But okay, now it's my thought from my studies, as well as the studies that we do here at RPK, that the Hebrews themselves, they believed in more than one deity, as in worship, right? So when we come across seeing the Son of God in the Bible, or the Son of Man, or Christ inside the Bible, a lot of people are getting stuck on who Christ was. And I believe that this subject matter needs to be studied thoroughly. And if you take the time and the effort to study it thoroughly, you will see that the Jews themselves are, you could say, I would say the whole Hebrew race from the book of Hebrews, which it was written to, they actually believed in a twofold deity. And once you find out which deity that they believe Christ is, it will blow your mind, because if you look at some of the things that Christ said, as well as what the disciples spoke about Christ, which was also spoken of Christ in the quote unquote non-canonical literature out there that was left by the Jews, you will see that they actually identified Christ with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not in just acts alone, but in all aspects, as in, sorry about that, as in the whole, he's him incarnate, right? So in other words, they was trying to say that Christ was the Yahweh, or the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob of the Bible. Now, we have this number or understanding that when we talk about Yahweh in the Old Testament, we're actually speaking on the Father, right? The supreme being, the big, quote unquote, the big kahuna, right? But this is a misunderstanding that has been brought on by Westerners, because they haven't dove into the Eastern scriptures or the Eastern mindset themselves. Because once you dive, and the only way to dive into the Eastern mindset, it's not just going to be about learning Hebrew or Greek. That's not what you're going to I mean, that helps, but to really dive in their mindsets, because learning that stuff, it doesn't help you with the idioms and stuff. So in order to to really dive in their mindset, you have to look at some of the literature that was left by Hebrews, not just the literature inside of the Bible, because it was the Bible itself. It has a biased message, which was concentrating on covenants and the covenants of Israel. Now you have this other literature that was left by the Jews that expands past just the covenant of Israel, and it tells you what's going on inside of the quote unquote habitable earth, as well as the mission of the Most High and the Yahweh, his mission on the whole entire planet, or aka mankind. So you dive into that literature, that's how you get the mindset. And then you got all these other ancient Jews that left scripture, that left information that wasn't considered scripture. I mean, like your book of Enoch, and you got your Philo and your Josephus, and you got all of these pseudographicals or pseudographicals or whatever you want to call it. So you got a lot of this stuff that tells you the mindset or the ideology that they was in the first century. And then once you start diving into this information, you realize that it was a Yahweh, and that Yahweh was insubordinate to a higher being. That Yahweh was doing things dealing with the children of Israel itself. And if once you start going into this old Greek and all of this stuff, you will see how the translators translated into English. Meanwhile, how it is really, really rendered in some of the old language. So then you will start seeing that in some of these passages, that the Son of Man was actually called the Ancient of Days. Then you have Christ doing the same thing, exactly how Yahweh was doing it. And then you have Christ saying the will of his Father, right? And then you have Yahweh doing the will that was dedicated to Israel. But according to Christ, that same will that he was doing, which is the same will that Yahweh was doing, he was doing it for his Father, or his Father was the one who sent him. So it's a lot of information that you could dive into. And once you start diving into this information, you will see the deities. You will see how the angel of the Lord was considered the great I am. And you will see how the Lord of hosts was considered Yahweh. And you will see how the disciples use that same literature dealing with Yahweh and the Lord of hosts and the angel of the Lord to relate it to Christ and say, this is exactly what Christ is doing, aka being that being that incarnate, which was prophesied in the old. And I'm going to end it with this. We got to remember that in the Torah, it was said that Moses himself, right? He was going to be the one that spoke to the Father, or spoke to Yahweh. I'll make that correction, because we classify the Father with Yahweh, and sometimes when I talk, it gets bottled in there. But when he spoke to Yahweh, right, it said that he was going to be the only one that's spoken to plainly, face to face, and etc. But all of the other prophets was going to get visions, dreams, and the information that they got was going to be set in riddles. So once you start reading these Isaiahs and Ezekiels and Zechariah and all these stuff, these prophets, it was already told in the Torah that they was going to receive things in riddle form. And when you get to the New Testament actually expounds and explains what those riddles meant. So that's my position, that there was more than one high power being inside of the heavens. You had the Father, then you had Yahweh, aka the Word, aka the angel of the Lord, aka the Lord of hosts. You have this one being, or this one deity, that have all of these titles. And when they speak of Christ, Christ is their deity. So if you deny Christ, you are denying Yahweh. So that's my stance on the information. And thank you all for listening. Hey, brother, I think your mic is muted.
Really? Oh, can you hear me now? Oh, I'm so sorry. And yo, hey, Sammy, I just gave you lots of praises too. Goodness grief, yo, you just don't know. But no, I'm sorry, yo. I'm sorry, everybody. So right now we're gonna bring on Sammy Addison. Right, he's gonna go ahead and give you some of his background, understanding of his beliefs, his stance point, and his position in this debate, so that you guys can already have a trail or a track record of him to follow and understand his stance point. And you can go ahead. I advise you first and foremost to research everything that Elvin was saying and understand on that day, this is his perspective and this is how he's presenting his information. And this is where he's going to pull everything from that mindset. Now we're going to go ahead and have Sammy do the same thing. And I need for you to study his information as well, his mindset, because without the understanding of the one's mindset, you're always going to be lost. That's a motto here at RPK. So go ahead, Sammy. It's on you.
I'd like to say peace and shalom to all of the way walkers out there and the girl that sojourned with us. I am the defender of the way, Sam Addison, and I categorically disagree with my brother there. I understand how he could think some of the things that he does. But in dealing with the Hebraic aspects of the text, it is important that we learn the language and the culture. And within that biblical text, we have both. We have the Hebraic language and we have the Hebraic culture as well. And so dealing with that text in itself, I just don't see where we have more than one Yahuwah or Yahweh, as some would call him. Deuteronomy chapter number 6 and 4 tells us clearly the Shema, that Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Akkad. In other words, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. And so therefore, it appears to me that biblical orthodoxy teaches a Unitarian Christology or theology. It teaches the oneness of the divine being. Now, when we talk about the theophanies, as far as the angel of Yahuwah, when it comes to that, my position is that is in fact God. When we understand the Hebraic aspects of the culture, the title God was applied to the Ark of the Covenant. It was applied to the angel of Yahuwah. It was applied to King David. David in, I believe it's Tehillim 46, I believe it is 45, 46, Psalms 45, 46. It is applied to King David there. It is applied to all the leaders of Yasharah, all the leaders of Israel in Psalms 82, 83, which Hamashiach himself quoted himself in his defense of folk claiming that he proclaimed himself to be Yahuwah, which would, in the case of the biblical narrative, according to my understanding and my studies there, would be blasphemy. If we take a look at the book of Yehukanan, the book of John, the 8th through the 10th chapter there, a lot of the Pharisees and Sadducees came to Christ and said, hey, listen, you're committing blasphemy because you, being a man, make yourself equal with the divine. And in that same very text, if you follow on with the text, Yahushua HaMashiach himself actually denies that claim. He says, I said to you, he actually gave us his claim in that text. He says, I said to you, I am the B'nai Elohim, the B'nai Elohim, right? The Son of God. In other words, you guys are claiming that I am, or proclaiming, or accusing me of claiming that I am the I am that I am, the Aye Asher Aye, but that's not what I'm doing here. I said I am the B'nai Elohim, and therefore, from my studies, I haven't found yet a text where Christ, Yahusha Hamashiach, the Christ, says that I am God. I haven't found that text yet. The ego I me in the Greek was used by other New Testament authors, one of them being Paul. Solomon as well used the same in the Hebrew. He says, I am. So these things for me is just not enough sufficient evidence to overturn the spirit of Devarim 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Now, according to the Hebraic understanding, we do understand that others were called Elohims, or gods. According to my understanding and my years of study, the ancient Hebrew Israelites, especially the first temple ones, were henotheistic. In other words, they believe in a multiplicity of gods, but that they reserved worship for only one, and that is Yahuwah Eloheinu, So that's what I see, and that's what I can prove in the divine text, right? In the set apart text. So my approach to hermeneutics, biblical hermeneutics, to the science of interpreting the text is actually first starting with the text itself in English, right? Taking the text in English, saying exactly, when we talk about exegesis, we're talking about observation, interpretation, and application. So first of all, we must observe exactly what the text is saying. Don't try to force our preconceived, our prejudices, our theological dogmas onto the text. Allow the text to speak for itself. But then, since we know that English has changed over time, English itself, not even before we approach the subject of Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic, we know that the English language in itself has changed. It's called the process scientifically semantic shifting, right? And so because of this, we have to go back to the original Greek and Hebrew languages. We have to understand the original languages, the original culture in which the history, yes, the actual history that we have in the Mishnah, the Talmud, all of these, which would be called the pseudepigraphal writings and things of that nature. Yes, these things are historical primary sources that we can use to determine the mindset and, the ideologies and the understandings of first century Hebrews, which is important to understanding this Hebrew text, right? And so this is pretty much my position. My position is one, and I'm closing. My position is one of Unitarianism. There is one Yahuwah, one Yahuwah Eloheinu. There is a multiplicity of divine beings, of supernatural beings. There's also a multiplicity of those who carry the authority of Yahuwah, whom the biblical text calls gods. The angel of Yahuwah, Dawid, the leaders of Israel, these folks were referred to as God. So I don't have a problem with that. They are physical representations of the divine being on earth. But being Yahuwah is a whole horse of a different color, which I don't find that the doctrine, which I hear, if I'm hearing correctly, is the doctrine of the two powers. Yes, that is in the history. However, it's not in orthodoxy. The original Hebrews rejected that. They rejected it as a heretical doctrine, and it didn't take root until somewhere around the 2nd century there, if I'm hearing correctly. And so it's going to be interesting to know. You guys need to tune in. We're going to be bringing primary sources, historical sources. This is not my opinion, you should listen to me type thing, at least from my point of view and vantage point. We will be bringing the biblical text itself, exegeting, getting down to the etymologies of the wording, especially when it comes to Yehukanan 1 and 1, John chapter number 1 and 1, dealing with the logos theos there. That's a favorite one. We're going to get into that, and we'll get into the history of those terminologies and things of that nature. So you guys will certainly want to tune in, because I'm sure my brother has a bunch of data that he wants to bring forth. I certainly have a plethora of internal, being the biblical text, as well as external historical evidences showing that the original followers of Yahushua HaMashiach were in fact Unitarian. They were in fact adoptionists in their Christology. The 1st century Nazarenes, Essenes, Ebionites, all of those folks were actually adoptionists, meaning they believed that Yeshua HaMashiach became the B'nai Elohim, but that he was just a man that was born.
Right.
You see.
Right then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so you got a little background on both of them, their standpoint. For the debate that we're working on, I need you guys to make sure you follow Elvin, Israel, and Sammy Addison. I need you guys to go ahead on Facebook to look for them, because they definitely both are on Facebook. They're both very knowledgeable individuals based on what they do believe, and I think everyone could actually learn from them. So what I'm going to go ahead and do first is I'm going to cut this alarm off. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give them a couple minutes just to kind of close out, entice you to really want to tune in. I want them to speak from the heart, speak from the text, and just speak to you that's listening, because they got to give you a reason to still want to come in besides their viewpoints, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let Elvin go ahead and start that off now. So Elvin, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, bro. I'm trying to unmute you.
I got you. I got it. You good? All right, shalom. Thank you everyone for listening in. You heard my viewpoint. You heard Brother Sam's viewpoint. So I believe it's going to be an interesting debate. And if you listen carefully, you see that me and him agree upon a lot of things. It's just the only pretty much disagreement is whether or not, because this is just my first time also hearing his viewpoint. So it seems like that our differentiation is when pretty much me believing that this individual was in fact Yahweh, and he believes that the Hebrews used it as a representation of Yahweh. So I plan on covering all of that stuff inside of the debate. That we're going to try to have it like around the beginning of January-ish, something like that, maybe mid-January-ish. But right now we're just trying to lay out the platform so everybody to know what to expect inside of the debate. But like I was saying, it's going to be a lot of different information that we're going to bring out to show what the Hebrews actually believed and what they left inside of their writings to say what they believe. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that we have outside of the spirit is the information and literature that they left behind. And with the information and literature they left behind, it's a plethora of information and literature. And with that, from what we're going to bring out, hopefully we're going to be able to see by the time at the end of the debate whether or not Christ was Yahweh, or was he just a representation of Yahweh, or did he become more like a Yahweh-like figure after the resurrection and etc. So I believe it's going to be a great debate. And I believe throughout this, we're going to go through a lot of history and stuff, give you a different part of the Bible that I believe a lot of people overlook when they're reading scriptures, and when they bypass what this word says, like dealing with the deity, the higher powers, and what their words say and all that stuff. So hopefully after the end of the debate, we'll shine a light on a lot of these terms that a lot of people just overlook or always was wondering about. And we have a new respect for Christ. Everyone will have a newer and a fresher respect for Christ, Old Testament only people as well as Messianic people alike. So that will be the point of the debate, what I'm trying to get accomplished. And I'm excited. The brother seems very knowledgeable. He gave a lot of credentials. So I think it's going to be insightful. I think it's going to be very thorough. I think it's going to be a great debate. So this what I'm looking for. Thank you all for listening in to me rattling on. Y'all know I go on and on for my classes, but I'm excited. So the ball is in my brother's court, and once his schedule clear up and stuff, he's going to let me know, and then we're going to relay it to all you guys when we can have this debate, whether or not it's Christ Yahweh. Thank you. Your mic muted, brother.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, yes, this is going to actually be it's a great topic, very timely topic, very hotly disputed topic, one that has been a very hotly contested topic for millennia, actually. And so it's going to be very interesting for us to bring these sources out and see how you guys interpret them. The Bible tells us that when we have disagreements, these are still my brothers there. And so we have a theological disagreement there. And so the Bible demands that we call upon you guys, the Kahal, the members of the body, to actually review the information and to be the judges. And so therefore, as my brother said, Brother Elvin says that we will be looking forward to doing this sometime in the beginning of January. And we look forward to all of you guys out there tuning in, actually sharing the, I guess you call it the advertisement, what have you, for it, so that we can get the Kahal together and bring them in on this issue. It is very important, very timely topic. I appreciate everyone tuning in that's watching this preliminary, or that will see this preliminary. I am the defender of the way, Sam Addison, and I look forward to presenting my information for you guys based on the oneness Unitarian position and paradigm of the biblical text.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna put it like this, man. I'm excited. When I seen that it all started, let's give y'all some background. It started. Elvin had put up a video. In his video, a young man was checking the video out, and he had his questions and his understandings, and he questioned Elvin. They went back and forth for a few minutes, just talking. And he tagged in Sammy, and he said, well, Sammy is very versed and knowledgeable in this, and he can explain it or defend the position he was trying to defend at an even higher level. And Sammy came in, and we discussed it with Sammy, and we said, well, listen, we're willing to discuss this in a public format. We want to edify everyone. He was more than willing to do it, and that's why we're here today. So first and foremost, I want to thank Sammy Addison. I want to thank Elvin, Israel for taking their time out. I want to say this also. Excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. I want to say this also, that The main thing we want you guys to, that unanimously we want you guys to know is this: ancient Hebrew understanding, the culture. Both of them said that, right? So this is something that is synonymous. Like, we have to make sure that everyone understands the ancient Hebrew culture, because without the ancient Hebrew culture, you'll be believing some different stuff. Trust me, right? Also, we also want everybody to be edified. This is a time for you to take resources. That's why they're presenting resources. We want you guys to take resources and don't just take either one of these gentlemen's word about the resources. Research it for yourself. Read these things for yourself. Take opinion out of it. Let's stick with the facts of the ancient Hebrew culture and these resources that support it. Of course, the best undeniable source will be the Bible itself. Okay? Now, with that being said, I want to thank everybody for viewing. We're going to keep you in tune. We're going to do actually another preliminary in about 2 weeks, building up to the actual event, just to let you know the date of the event. All right? So y'all stay tuned and understand Yahweh is Christ. What is he?
Hey, my brother, before you get off though, I would like to can we get brother Sam to clear up, because you know, a lot of people was wanting to know about the debate today, and a lot of people was interested into listening on the debate from my platform and etc. So you know, and here at, you know, RPK, we have a history of actually doing what we say that we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. So just brother Sam, could you give everyone what happened, the reason why we are waiting later to do the debate? Because you know, not saying that, you know, that you get what I'm saying, just let people know, because I don't want anyone to have an excuse or have an opinion, because a lot of people go against what we say anyway, being full of preterists, and they can use this and run off with it. So in order, you know, just to let everybody know that we on our end, we didn't say that we didn't want to debate and all this stuff. Just let everybody know exactly what happened and why we have to debate in the future, if you don't mind, my brother.
Sure. Actually, getting together and putting together the moderator to make sure that we have a organized, effective debate and discussion. This is one of the reasons why we decided to go ahead and push the actual debate back, so that we can, one, get to understand each other's positions, which makes absolute sense, because if I don't understand fully where you're coming from, if I'm going based off of one post or 2 posts that I've seen you make on the Facebook, then that's not very wise. And then making sure that you understand where I'm coming from and understand my position, so that you're better prepared and have your guns blazing when you come, so that it's a more impactful and exciting and efficacious debate. And so we had to get these dynamics out. We want to get, the Bible requires us to have a kahal, to get together, to gather together a group of believers, if we're going to be followers of what Hamashiach actually said. I believe it's Matthew 18 or 19 says, if you have a disagreement with your brother, you don't go to war and do all those sort of things and hold grudges and all of that foolishness. What we do is lay out the arguments in front of the kahal. And so in order for us to do that, it wasn't enough time, a day or two, for us to get enough warning out and message out and invitation out to the masses, so that we can have a plethora of individuals in which to be pretty much judges, to pretty much judge, because there's no judges. So you guys will be judging, and we want the quorum of believers from, you know, both sides of the spectrum to come in and be able to have their input and be able to listen and hear the actual arguments. For that to take place, it takes time. for us to do that. And so that's why we did that. Do everything decently and in order. So we wanted to make sure that we were all okay with each other, that we're going to have a pretty cordial conversation, not yelling and screaming and going back and forward and all of that stuff based out of emotion. So we wanted to do a test run on that and also let you guys know what the actual issues are that we will be debating and where we stand position wise. So that's pretty much it. The brothers are not running from the discussion at all from what I've seen. I don't think that they are, they were right on it. If I said this, they were, so the messages, and in fact, they were kind of goading me to come along. And so, that's certainly not the case that these brothers are actually ducking or dodging. They want to have this conversation just as much as I do. And we just wanted to make sure it's done decently and in order and that it's beneficial and edifying to the body.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. Now, just remember, I want you guys to stay tuned in. Now, if you're on social media, just in case you see this on YouTube or anything, if you're on Facebook, please research, look up Sam Addison and Elvin Israel and follow them. You can also follow our Facebook. We have a page, a Facebook page and a chat. I'm going to say group, Resurrection, Prophecy, Kingdom, RPK. You're going to see this logo right here. That's how you know you got the right place. I am Josephus Caleb Israel. They call me Brother Boss. Come follow us. And I want you to do it for many different reasons. They prepare for this to be. We all are dropping knowledge for everyone out there. And we're trying to edify the masses because we believe that's what we're supposed to do as believers in the book. Period, point blank. And I could think we can all say here that we're going to die doing what we're doing today, defending the ancient word and promoting the Most High in every step that we do. All right. So I want to thank y'all again. RPK, Resurrection, Prophecy, and Kingdom. You can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, anything you want to do. Come study with us, man. We got that. We got that information for you. We can definitely dig into them books, man. I want to thank these two guys for coming out, and everybody have a good day, man. Shalom.